as well.
And several Metro Council members, as you know, are still in a meeting at this hour to determine if Metro Councilman Dan Johnson violated conditions for him to remain on Metro Council.
Brand new complaints have been filed against him since last Wednesday's meeting. Now, the council voted to allow him to stay on the council following harassment allegations, but he had new rules to follow and cannot have another violation. Those new rules include doing most of his council work from home and having a time limit at Metro Hall before and after the council meetings.
If he did violate those conditions, he could lose his seat. Our Robert Bradfield is in that meeting, and we'll have the latest coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
As you've been seeing in this newscast, from House Speaker Jeff Hoover to the Councilman Dan Johnson, we've had our share of sexual harassment allegations recently. And in Frankfort, this is not the first time that it's made big headlines.
And of course, nationally, we have seen the Me Too movement. It's been overwhelming to see how many people, mostly women, have said it has happened to them. Todd Logsdon is a partner at Fisher Phillips. They handle many of these cases locally and nationally. And the number of people who have kept quiet. I guess first question to you, has that surprised you how many people are coming out and said they never reported it?
It is surprising. Thanks for having me. It is surprising because the law's been around and on the books for quite some time. I would have thought people would have reported sooner.
They're worried about, I guess, losing their jobs. One reason. One thing that has struck me in this, Todd, is this line. It seems so different between private companies. I mean, we have to watch videos here, working here, to learn and identify what sexual harassment is. But in government, it just seems that it's so over the top differently. Why is that?
Well, it's a difference in the employment relationship and whether or not the elected official is actually an employee or an employer or not. So it's very different. Councilmen and state representatives can't just simply be fired usually, or there's some different process for them rather than just being terminated.
Let's talk about what sexual harassment is. I'm assuming in most cases it's women. Would that be true?
In most cases.
And does it usually happen with somebody who's a superior or not necessarily so?
Not necessarily. You can have coworker sexual harassment as well. And sexual harassment in a nutshell is some type of unwanted conduct of a sexual nature that is committed because of the recipient's gender.
So you're posting lewd posters or whatever in your desk cubicle that could be viewed as sexual harassment.
It could, and that's
or the texting cases we're talking about.
Yes, and the lewd poster would be under what's called hostile work environment type of sexual harassment. The other type is the quid pro quo, which translates to this for that. That might be more what you've seen with Harvey Weinstein. If you're going to go out with me if you want to get this part, you're going to go out with me if you want to get this promotion. That type of thing.
Well, let's talk about how do we leave people feeling empowered in this conversation if people are out there going, this is happening to me, what do I do? First of all, report it and don't worry about the retribution because we've seen how it can work.
Well, there are protections for employees if there's any retaliation for reporting the unwanted sexual harassment. I think for employers, take note, take a look at your policies, get policies if you don't have those, and train your employees so they know what their rights and obligations are. For employees, I think first, if it's a coworker, say, I don't appreciate that, I'm not interested, and then if that doesn't work, go to human resources or a manager.
What puzzles you the most about the Hoover case? The questions you might have?
I think there's just a lot of information we don't know about the Hoover case, but it's very different. He said it was consensual. If it was consensual, we probably wouldn't be talking about it.
You know, out of all this, I hope the one thing that happens is that feeling of empowerment where people say, I do need to say something else, especially after the Me Too campaign.
Absolutely. I have a daughter who's 17 years old, and I hope that she's empowered and understands. And hopefully, as the daughter of a labor and employment lawyer, she knows what she needs to do.
So first step, you should say something and confront the person that you're offended by. And if it doesn't go away after that,
then go to human resources or another manager. And the confronting may not be as successful if it's a superior as opposed to a coworker. In that case, a female may not want to deal with that with the superior. They may want to go straight to human resources.
All right. Thank you so much. Good advice tonight. We really appreciate it.